Okay. Okay, here's the poop deck patrons and their attitude, which is a whole different attitude on how they're going to ride out the storm. Watch.
Hurricane Rita started out yesterday and brought us down to the coast of Galveston. In this area, there are always needs in times of shelter to find shelters where people can hang out. I'm Terry Lyles, a stress doctor, so I look for tragedy, and this is one of the tragedies I was able to find. What's interesting about this place as a shelter is that people were hanging out here for a place of refuge. It's not only just a place of refuge, it has an interesting name and a connotation to this whole area. It is called the poop deck. I'm outside at the poop deck where some people found some consolation in their refuge, or its shelter as we would call it. And I found some locals here that actually hang out here a lot of the time. As you can see, the wind is still here. The hurricane just passed through today. So standing here with me is Andrew and Laura Lee, and they are locals here. Why do you stay here in the first place? With everything that was going on, it started out as a Category 5, and you chose to weather it out. Why?
Well, we made a decision on Thursday when I noticed on the television the traffic had become too bad for us to even make it past Houston. And after seeing all the vehicles on the side of the road with my family, it was in my mind our correct decision to stay on the island and assist wherever we could.
Abel, why are you here? And tell me your story.
Well, we drove in from Austin this morning. My aunt is a vet here in town, and she evacuated her clinic with 35 animals in a cargo van.
I'm here relaxing right now. There's no restaurant, something. I can't get anything to eat anywhere. I don't have any food in the house, so I can depend on some beer here.
Stress is a very serious thing and must be met with a serious approach, which is what stress recovery is. It's understanding how to oscillate in between stressful moments, changing our mental shift from what we may have lost in despair to something in gratitude, because life is always more important than things. And if you have your life and your family after a tragedy like this, you're doing very well. Taking frequent breaks and oscillation is the key to understanding and using stress correctly for what is good. Back to you, Geraldo.
Dr. Terry Lyles, thank you. That's not the. I thought that the piece was about a bunch of people who evacuated into a bottle at the bar. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to make light of people stressed out. The doctor joins us live, but I just want to, before I do, Doc, let me reference Joe Kingsbury, a guy that weathered the storm up in Beaumont, who also had has a home in Galveston, and was gracious enough to offer shelter to us if we needed it. We never got up to Beaumont, but Joe, I just want to say I thank you very much for your kind offer. And how are you faring?
No, I'm doing fine. I'm doing real good.
So do you regret, or do you feel reinvigorated by your decision to stick it out?
Oh, I'm glad that I stayed. I was very concerned about the aftermath of the storm, and I'm an interstate distributor here, one of 350 approximately across the United States and the Caribbean and Canada, and I was worried about what might occur after the storm, and I wanted to secure my warehouse. And I have to say that the Beaumont Police Department has been all over the city today, and they seem to have it well under control. So my concerns aren't as much as they were for previously, you know, and I think that everything is going to be just fine. And I did get my wife and my boy out of here yesterday. They went to Dallas and stayed with my sisters and brother-in-laws up there, and the house in Galveston seems to be okay. It's belongs to my mother, and we have it as a family retreat. So everything seems to be as good as can be expected.
Great, Joe. Great,
yeah.
Joe. All right, thank you so much for the invitation again. I'm so glad that everything seems to be okay for you and the family, and I hope to meet you someday in person. Dr. Terry Lyles, can you very briefly talk about people being stressed? How do you fight stress? You know, I fight stress usually by working out or something like that. How do you do it in a situation when you're so out of pocket, you're not in your home, no electricity? You know, what are you supposed to do? Count,
well, you have to process
or
it.
Count to 10 or what?
Well, you have to process it correctly, Geraldo. It's just being able to understand that we have to shift from a space of being in a challenge and knowing how to utilize that challenge correctly and looking at it as stress that can be utilized correctly versus something.
We'll utilize our challenge after this commercial break. Stay tuned.